If you have the Matthews B3X bow and you're thinking about buying the Matthews Lowpro Detachable Quiver, will it work on your bow with other sights? And that's what I'm here to tell you. When I originally picked up the Matthews, I bought it for the 1,200 bucks. I started adding stuff to it, and I just did not have enough money to add all Matthew products. I didn't. I added my arrow rest, which was a Matthews, but when I got to the site, it's a CBE. When I added the arrow holder, which is this here, um, I could not afford all Matthews. They're extremely expensive when you start adding their parts, and that's all there is to it. So in my mind, I thought, all right, let's get the arrow rest because and make sure that's Matthews, so that's out of the way. So I'm not going to have to hook that up or line up my arrows or any of that at a later date. So then he threw the CBE um, sight on, and I was like, okay. And that sight's only 50 bucks. The actual Matthews sight, by the time you get it home and get it in, it's usually around 400. So now this particular quiver thing, which holds 6 arrows, which is not detachable, was 50 bucks. And basically, it attached to the actual sight. So when I removed it off the sight and I went and connected the Matthews Lowpro Detachable Quiver, which is this here, which runs, I don't know, around 370 bucks by the time you're done. I think it's 350, and then you got your tax. And I bought it off Amazon. Now, one thing everybody's concerned about is will it fit, okay, between there when you have a different sight because your sight attaches to the side. You see, the Matthews sight goes right in the center, is the way it's designed this bow. Well, if you don't get the Matthews sight, then it's connected on the side. So I went and connected the Matthews Lowpro Detachable, and it worked. Even with this sight, you don't actually need the Matthews sight, so I was pretty surprised. Now, see if I can show you this. Now it's snug right away. Let me tell you that. And this comes off like this now. So now it's detachable. Now I can shoot it without this on there. Now there's no hooks on this Matthews Lowpro Detachable Quiver. And this quiver only works with the V3X of this year. This quiver doesn't work with anything. It is not universal. It is made strictly for this bow. And that's all there is to it. When you put it back on, you just slide it inside the hole. Now where it may have some noise is, and you have like a little dovetail that you're sliding it in, which I'm sure I need to break in. And then when I go to click it, there's a little bit of noise there. And I don't see how you're going to take that away. So if you're done hunting for the day and you're coming down, then no big deal. But if you plan to continue hunting, you may want to hug it, cuddle it. I don't know, find a way to dull that sound when you got it inside your coat, basically. Um, is it worth buying compared to the $50 one? This one was not, this was not detachable when this one was connected. It literally sat out from the bow that far. So that, when you were shooting, it put some torque on the one side. When I added this Matthews Lowpro Detachable Quiver, my shooting was quite different. Um, and it's just it's tight. I mean, it's so close to, there's like maybe a quarter of an inch, maybe less, on where my sight is. So, and I just think it looks a whole lot cooler if that matters, if you like the cool effect. But there is a difference between, 370 bucks compared to 50 bucks, right? When you start getting into Matthew products, they end up costing you a lot of money, and they're gold. Now everything on this bow is Matthews except the sight, and I may go that route. I'm not sure. The legs I picked up I bought all this stuff later when I had more money. I could not buy it all at the same time. I did buy the what is that called? The SCS system where you connect the paracord to it and you can pull it up into your tree blind. I did, and that's expensive. I mean, that was like $80. It was just a paracord and a couple little things you add to it. But this Lowpro Detachable Quiver, it has 2 holes in your bow, and that's where it goes. And it has 2 screws. That's it. I mean, it is the bow is designed to hold this quiver in that spot through those holes, and that quiver goes nowhere else. So if you think about it, with the V3X, they actually designed the bow for that quiver and only that quiver. And when they poured the aluminum, they actually had it for that particular item. So, is it worth it? If you have the money, yes, by all means, go pick it up. If you're going to starve a little bit and hurt a little bit, go pick it up. If you're really going to starve, suffer through it. Don't pick it up. But it really does complement the bow and make the bow, and it comes in all kinds of different colors. At the top, being my bow was black, I got black. But it depends on what you actually want to do with your bow, and I'm slowly tweaking it. Now, I'm at the point where I'm really not sure if I'm going to pick up the Matthews sight that connects right dead center, or I may get something else. I'm not sure. I've been looking around. I kind of want something. It's one pin, and usually all your sights that are of decent quality. I'm surprised how good this sight is, being it was only like $50. But normally your sights of decent quality are usually around $300 and usually up. And that's just the nature of the beast. So I'm pretty much there. The only thing that sucks, I went from 6 arrows in this quiver to 5 in that. So I'm down 1 arrow, which means I'm down 1 small game arrow. So, because I usually keep 1 or 2 small game arrows on me in special heads compared to my broadheads. But it's almost where I want it to be. I'm pulling it back pretty good. No effort now like I did in my first video. I'm getting quite used to it. I'm actually going to have to crank up the poundage and get out my... So I might have to get out my Allen keys, and I might have to tighten up the poundage because it's getting pretty easy to pull back now. But I do think it complements the bow much better with this detachable quiver from Matthews. And I think it's an awful lot of money. Now, maybe it's the carbon fiber in it, because you got one bar that comes up here that's carbon fiber and another little bar up here. I mean, maybe because of how light it is and the materials they put in, or maybe it's just Matthews thinking, "Hey, you bought our bow, and now we got you." It could be that too. But it's like anything: pay once, hurt, and cry, and then never pay again. I mean, because Matthews stands behind all their products. They have one of the best guarantees going for anything. And believe it or not, Matthews actually have the dies and everything from every single bow they ever made. So literally, if you bought a used Matthews bow that was 10 years old and there was something broke, like the wheel or something, and you sent it in, they would have the parts and the machines to actually make and fix whatever you have. And they are USA made. So that's pretty impressive. But like anything, you get what you pay for, and it is true in this situation also. So if you're wondering if the Matthews Lowpro Detachable Quiver is going to go on your bow with a different sight, it does with this CBE sight. So it probably will with yours. And that was actually relief when it came in. I thought it was going to have to sit on the shelf, and I was going to have to wait to buy their Matthews sight system and have to wait until I got the money to buy that and then sight it in and then go through all that. Where this situation here, everything's Matthews on this bow now except for the sight system, which is a cheap $50 sight system. I'm really surprised how well it works. And everything's working great, and I got it dialed in pretty good. A little bit more practice, a little bit more shooting with the broadheads to see how they're flying, how they fly true or not. And I think I'll have it pretty dialed in for hunting season. So if you're considering the Masters Lowpro Detachable Quiver, will it work with your sight on there? The answer is, I believe, yes, because it works with mine. And I'll catch you guys on the next one.